Good morning, everyone. So here we are. We're back with Diego from the previous session, which he gave us some wonderful insights into just really how he got traction and how he got going. And the thing I've taken away from that is persistence, consistency, a bit of patience, getting out of your comfort zone and doing all the things we know we're meant to be doing, but doing it all the time. And yes, dealing with the rejection. What was it you said, Diego, that, you know, people just, you get some people to tell you to bugger off, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep going. So this morning, Diego's back with us, and he's going to talk to us about his database, how it's grown, what he does, and how that gets managed for him, and some of the timelines and the categories of his database pipeline, call it what you like, but just so he can predict and the business that's coming in, and also so he can keep track of any move anyone's going to make in terms of wanting his services. So Diego, you as you said, you didn't really have much of a database 4 years ago, did you?
No, I had none, literally. Like, again, my manager said, add all your friends, and, you know, so you add them to a database, but, you know, no, I had no one. I literally had no one, and it took me a few months to get a listing. So I had to start literally from zero. Yeah.
In terms of your database, how many would you have on it now?
Got two databases, and I'll explain it. I use H1. H1, I've got everything on there. I've got about almost 10,000 contacts in there, and that's buyers, friends, this and that. So that's what I call my, everything is in there, right? So I use that just to send them a monthly email, and that's normally a market rep update of what's happening in the market area. Literally everyone on my database will get a monthly email. Now there's a lot of unsubscribes, and I'll get to what I'm doing at the moment. The reason why my database is literally a spreadsheet. It's an Excel spreadsheet that is basically got names, address, phone number, email address, and the date that they purchased the property. Okay, and it's on a spreadsheet. And the reason why, oh, sorry, let me just, sorry about that. Can you see me? Okay. And the reason why I did that is because I shopped around for a lot of databases, and I did not like the fact that if you send them an email from a database, they can unsubscribe. It takes me a lot of energy to find people contact details. I don't want them to unsubscribe from my emails, okay? Same thing with a phone number. If you send them an automated text message from a provider, it doesn't come from a number. It comes from a long number, and it doesn't, even if you sign it under your name, they know it's spam. Okay, so the way that I went, and I've done over the last 12 months, I've sort of decided, okay, I have every single time I communicate with my database of potential vendors, and I've got about 300 people, which is, I know it's not that big, but those are solid, clean leads of people that hopefully in the next 3 to 12 months will come on the market. Those 300 people, every time they get in touch, they will get communication from me. It will come from my email address or from my text or phone number. So there is no spamming, there is no unsubscribing, it's direct communication. And I'll tell you in a second how I do that. But that's kind of the way that I've set it up, because I don't want people to unsubscribe. As I say, Bob, it takes me a lot of energy to find people details, and
Sure.
you know, unsubscribes is the worst thing that you can see. So this is what I do. And I like to consider everything that I do soft. Well, basically, I never ask for business, and I'll explain what I mean to that in a second. Every single time they will hear from me or they see my name, it's a soft point of touch. Okay, so once a month, they will get a letter in the letterbox with a market update. Now, obviously, 300 stamps cost quite a bit of money. I used to deliver them by myself, just drive around messy and sort of spend half a day doing that. Now I don't have the time, so I'll just post them. So there is a little bit of an investment with that. Now I always put a $1 scratch as well. So of course that's another $300. But guess what? They love getting my scratches. I don't even think they open they read the report, but they love getting my scratches. The last, I've got some coffee cards, free coffees. For Christmas, I send them a couple of free coffee cards and a $5 scratcher. So like I try to just spice it up a little bit. I've got
hold that up to the camera, Diego, that coffee card, because you've got your name on it, haven't you?
Oh yeah, I've got yeah. At
But
the start it's like free coffee, and at the back it's got some source pictures and whatnot.
they've-
Before we went into COVID-19 lockdown, I sent them, and this cost me quite a bit of money, but I sent them a vitamin C sachet. You know, the one that you buy at the pharmacy.
yeah,
So I bought 450 of them, and I sent them all out.
wow.
And look, they loved it. I've got probably like half a dozen, no, 15, 20 calls, people, or text messages saying, thank you for the vitamin C. You know, those are nice point of contact. So that's one way that I do it. Okay. So once a month they get a letter in the letterbox with a scratch you with something else. Now, if there is a new listing and a new sale in the, for example, in Messi, they'll get a text message coming from my phone saying, just listed this property. Friday night is a VIP open night. Come and have a look at it at 6:30. And then once it's sold, I'll let them know how much it's sold for. Okay. So, and again, I'm not expecting a reply. It's just basically, this is what's happening, but it's coming from my phone number. So you know, it doesn't feel like a spam. You know what I mean? For example, I've got the spreadsheet would say Messi, Theatre 2, Opsonville, or whatever it is. So if I list a property in Opsonville, or if I sell a property in Opsonville, I'll just message everyone that is in Messi. The way that I've got to set it up, and I'll show you, well, I can't really show you, but the way that I've got set up my database is actually on my phone as well. So every single of my 300 contacts, under the contact as a XXX. So if I do XXX, those are my 300 contacts. They're all here. Now, if I'm on the road and I want to call someone in Opsonville, in my database, I do XXX Opsonville. And guess what? Those are all my leads in Opsonville that are on my database. So I don't even have to have my computer.
A customized letter, yes, sure, there's a cost to it. There's nothing, people love nothing better than to get an envelope in the mail, and something that's personalized to them. And then you do, and what are the other steps that you take during the month? I think you said you had four steps that you take. That's one of them. Then you've got a second contact for the month. What's that? And who do you?
And this is time consuming. This Bob is time consuming, but this is a gold nugget, because since when I started doing it, I've got such good results from it. I would send individually an email to every single contact on my of those 300 saying, hi Bob, this is what happened in Opsonville last month. This is the highest sale and this is the lowest sale. Saying 3-bedroom household for 700,000, a 4-bedroom household for 1.3. Have an amazing day. Because everybody wants to know what's the lowest sale and what's the highest sale in their own suburb. Okay. So now, because I've got 300 of them, my PA, it probably takes a half a day to do all of that. But again, I get a very good response from people replying, say, thank you, Diego, that's interesting, or what do you think about that, or whatever it is. It's coming from my email address. It's not unsubscribe, you can get rid of me. This is me emailing you, Bob, telling you what the house sold, the highest sale and the lowest sale. So I started doing that over the last 6 months, and that's a very good way to be in touch and in front of them without asking for anything.
That also lets them know that you're the expert in the area. It's another way of getting your name in front of them, but it also is quite short and succinct. And as you say, you're not asking for anything, you're just letting me know.
Let's just say I put a new contact on the list. Now, the first few times I will call them, I always say the same thing. Bob, I know you're not looking to sell, but number 50 down the road just sold for this much. I just wanted to let you know that. I know you're not looking to sell. I just wanted to let you know that. You have a good day, and hang up. Because people, until they trust you that you're not there just wanting to sell the house, they just like, I don't want to speak to you because you're an agent. Even if you met them, did an appraisal, I always say, I know you're not looking to sell, but I just wanted to tell you about that. Yeah. So that's kind of, yeah.
Takes the pressure off them.
100%. The same thing is when I do an appraisal. I will go to an appraisal, and the first thing I'll say is like, guys, if nothing comes out of today, that's absolutely fine. I just want to show you my thoughts on how to get you sold for top dollar. I always frame it that way, because otherwise they feel that there's just, you got to break the ice and make them feel at ease, and target to those people that got the email address or phone number registered to Facebook, because then they're going to see, you got to pay for it, of course, but you put $50, and those people will see it on the timeline, or when they're scrolling, they will see your name, Diego, or a new listing or a new sale. So it's very indirect, way to be in front of them, and they they don't even realize it's a paid ad, but nevertheless you're in front of them. And you do the same on Google, because Google, you can remarket. It's called Google remarketing, as you know. You can remarket yourself to people that got their Gmail address, email address registered and logged in, because then they go on the Herald or they go and have a look at the weather or on Trade Me and they see your ads following them. And that's brilliant, because then it's like, oh, Diego's everywhere.
There you go, guys. My goodness, you know, there's Diego sharing so many things with us, and simple things that you can start implementing now and get done. It's really generous of you to be you know, sort of sharing this. I think it's going to be extraordinarily helpful to people who not only are relatively new to this business, but people that have been in the business for a while that want to sort of raise the level of where they're going. And the sort of information and advice and the sharing you're doing, Diego, is just gold. Do you do a lot of calling to your database? Do you call them all those real hot gold nuggets? Are you in touch with them by phone as well?
But that's probably my biggest weakness, is being on the phone. That's something I need to do more. But what I've started doing recently is 10 calls in the morning to my database and 10 calls in the afternoon to a call that those are people that I help with, all buyers from 3-4 years ago, and that probably by now they've been living in the house that they bought not through me, and see if they want to get an appraisal.
Okay, so Diego, anyone that knows you knows that you've built a small team around you, and again, you know, in relatively short time that you've been in the industry, you now have a team around you.
So effectively, it's a team of 4 agents plus 2 PAs plus me. Yeah, 7.
It's a big team, not a small team. Okay, what's that mean for you? I suppose I'm talking. Does that allow you to focus on the dollar productive time?
It does, Bob. It's made life so much easier, because it's and look, one of the challenges of having a team, right? Your competitors will say, Diego will never do the open homes, he's going to give it to one of your team members. That is never the case. And I always tell my vendors that, look, I'll be doing 9 out of 10 open homes. I will be doing all the negotiation, all the callbacks. If somebody lists with me, I'm going to be the listing agent, doing the open homes, doing the callbacks, doing the negotiations and all of that. The way that I look at it is that if you don't have a PA, you are the PA. If you don't have a buyer's agent that can help you with a building report, you got to be there yourself. Now, I'm employed by you, the vendor, to get you the top dollar. So I'm there to find buyers, to negotiate for you and all of that. Now, if I got to do some flyer drops or take a builder for an inspection, am I really doing what I'm supposed to do for you as a vendor? And this is, you readjust it a little bit, which is important.
Yeah.
Look, I had a very good year, Bob. Obviously, number 5, that was an amazing achievement, right? But that's, for me, I want to do more and grow the business more. So I need someone that helps me with the back end.
Yeah. Okay. And so by putting the this team around you, it's to enable you to do more what?
Basically, more listing and selling, but as well have a bit of time with the family. You know, Friday morning is my morning off. I had 6 months without a day off, almost 6 months without a day off, and it takes it out on you. And now that I got a baby, I want to have a bit of time off. You know, I don't want to go to work until 9 o'clock. In the morning, because I normally work until 8 p.m. So it's the PA, or, you know, the system, the team is there for 2 reasons: so that I can grow the business, I can spend a bit of time at home as well.
Take some pressure off you with your time, have some time with your family. Fantastic. Have you got any particular dialogue, any particular little, not trick, but any particular dialogue that you use to sort of get yourself one up above the competition?
Well, I think it will be too late if you're trying to do that while you're sitting there. I think 50% of the work has to be done before the actual meeting face to face. So I'll take you through the process, okay? What happens since someone, for example, gives me a call, say, can you come tonight? We want to list our property. So within 5 minutes, I use Rate My Agent, and on Rate My Agent, there is a listing report. You basically send them all your testimonials and all of your, you know, it looks really, really good. I shouldn't say this because now everybody's going to do it. Nobody's doing it at the moment, but nevertheless, it looks really good. It gets to the email address. You got all the testimonials, all of, you know, that just looks really good. So that's in the inbox. Thank you text message, calendar invites with your website loaded in. Okay, so that's 4 point of contacts from the moment they call me to, let's just say, an hour. So it looks really good. And it's not like you're bombarding them. It's like, hey, thank you for your call. I look forward to see you tonight at 6 p.m. In 5 minutes, you'll get an email with some information about myself. 5 minutes to get an email. Then they'll get a calendar. So that you look professional already. Now the calendar invite will tell you how long the meeting is as well, so they can allocate that time. You know, but sometimes as well, Barbie, it's about asking the right question, because, and again, I'll learn from my mistakes. I now ask that when they call me, is like, are you ready to list tonight? Or would you like me to have a look first and come back to you? I'll ask those questions, because if somebody is like, now we made the decision, you want to go there with the listing agreement filled in, ready to go, which normally it's done anyway, but you know what I mean? Sometimes people, they like to be talk 2-4 hours on end, and that's fine as well. So I just need to understand a little bit more. But yeah, that process is there, so that the blue box will be by the door within an hour. And
so you use the blue box?
100%. Now my blue box has got everything about my business. It got every single sale I've done from day one. And what I mean by that, it's there's of course a picture of the property, how much it's sold for, the date it's sold for, well, you know, if it's sold over a CV or over reserve, how many bidders, how much money they spend on marketing, the phone number of the vendor, the phone number of the buyer, and the picture of the sold sticker with them, if I was able to take one. And that's for every single sale I've done. Now it's thick, it's double page and it's thick, but then, you know, there's about 300 phone numbers in there for people to call about myself. Now I print all my Rate My Agents testimonials as well. And again, it's thick. My blue box is about 4 kgs.
Yes.
And I know it's a bit of paper and all of that, but when they open it and they see that I've got 100 and whatever feedback from Rate My Agents, again, I put the phone numbers of all the people that put the feedback in there. You just set yourself apart, because they open the blue box with a scratchy, couple of coffee cards, couple of jelly beans, you know, that kind of stuff, of course. But once they open it up and they go like, well, this guy means business. Because I'll tell you what, my competition ain't doing that, because there's not many people sell as much as I sell. And of course, on Rate My Agent, being, you know, the Rate My Agents Agent of the Year in New Zealand, there's not many people got that kind of feedback and testimonials. I'm not dragging out, just basically I work really hard to get there. And look, Bob, at the start, I started with 1 sale. I started with 1 testimonial, and then 2 sales, 2 testimonial, 3 sales, 3, you know what I mean? And then once you get to 10, 15, then you start looking semi-professional, and you're happy because this is all myself from the last 12 months. So, you know, you ask me, what is the scripts, or that is kind of what I do. So by the time I sit in front of them and I ask the right type of questions, they take, I wouldn't say all of the time, but the majority of the time, they just go with me.
They just go with you. It is a numbers game, because you are going to lose some, aren't you? And etc. But
I still lose some. Like I lost one a couple of days ago. It really pissed me off. I talked with her for 4 years. I still lose some. So everyone does. But yes, sorry, I interrupted you.
do you know when you're going to, do you find out before you go to the appointment whether there are other agents going, or do you just not bother with the question?
I don't ask the question, but when I'm in front of them, and that's one of my closing lines, or, you know, I do use this as like, look, I would suggest you call a couple of other agents, because not all agents are the same. You got to choose the best agent that would work for you. I literally got every single vendor that I ever sold in my blue box, and probably not by my own fault, awfully, but probably there's a couple of those people didn't have the best outcome for whatever reason, market or the property have issues, but I still put the phone number in there, because I know that I've done every single time the absolute best I can for the vendor. Anyway.
So it's less about results in a way, isn't it? It's more about what people remember is how you treated them. The deal gets forgotten, but how you made them feel. There'll be some of you listening here and saying, but I don't have what Diego's got. Remember, 4 years ago, Diego had none of it either. So it's about starting somewhere and about where this can get you. So Diego, when people haven't got the sort of experience or aren't at where you're at, then the best thing to do is talk about the we, isn't it? And the we is the Harcourts.
There's a lot of collateral.
Stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that hackers provide, you know, very good information. And you can, like, I every now and then I got a new colleague say, I'm doing appraisal. Can I say that we sold that property and all of that? Oh, yeah, of course, just go for gold. You know, yeah, at the end of the day, you've got to start somewhere.
I remember about a year ago, I was doing some training, and I said, you know, and I said, we were talking about being a new agent, not having the sort of experience that Diego has now. Things change, dialogues change, scripts change, your mind changes. But those that don't have that, you've got to use your team members, your colleagues, you've got to use the harcourts. And about a year ago, I said to somebody, you know, they were going to do a presentation, and she said, I know what they're going to say, I'm a new agent, etc., etc. And one thing just to say to them is, but you're not just taking me, it's not just me that you're giving your listing to, it's our whole network, it's our whole office to get in behind you. If you're new, and you know, sometimes we need to try and validate that, or we might get challenged on it. Just let them know it's with the whole office. If you're in Diego's office and you're a new agent and you're going to a listing, I'd do one or two things. I'd probably take Diego with me if he'd be kind enough to do that. Or I'd be saying to them, look, I've got people like Diego and Mary, etc., etc. All my colleagues are behind this listing. Could you write, Diego? You have to start somewhere.
Look, Bob, you couldn't be more right. The first 2 or 3 listings I had, I took a colleague with me. Lost half the commission, but the amount of information that I learned,
yes,
you know, it got me where I am today. And like at the end of the day, if you don't know it, just get someone that does, and you learn from them. So
we're just sort of getting to the end of this now. So Diego, could you just share with me, you know, you work hard, you do 12-hour days most days, you work 7 days a week. How do you get the balance in your life?
when you love what you do, when you really, really love what you do, 3 times overrated. And it's not my quote. I heard it from someone else, but I couldn't agree more. You know, COVID-19 lockdown was a great opportunity to relax and actually be forced to relax. But if, you know, forget about this time, Friday morning, it's my time with the family. But if there is a public holiday, I get bored, and I just love working. I really genuinely love working. And my wife, it's a bit of a struggle, so I gotta keep a bit of balance. But for me, I just really enjoy what I do, and yeah.
How do you plan that family time? Do you plan family time now? Is that what you need to do?
I had all my holiday plans. So Samoa was supposed to be 3 weeks ago, cancelled, of course. Bali in July, which is probably going to be cancelled, and Sri Lanka was supposed to be for Christmas. So hopefully we can manage to do that. But yeah, I planned them in advance.
What motivates you, and why? And why? What's your why, and what motivates you?
It's changed since when I had Lexi. You know, the family, it's obviously for anyone that has a family, or, you know, you can just imagine if you got a family, you do what you do to create that wealth for yourself and for you know, for my daughter, I guess, right? So that is a very big why. The second one will just touch back. I just want to be the best agent I can be. I just feel like I'm not the best, although I'm really, really good. You know, I just think I can better myself. And that's why I literally do what I do. And I don't mind working those 12-hour days, because I know I'll get closer and closer to be the best.
So when I talk to you again in another 3 to 5 years, God willing, what's your business going to look like, and what's Diego going to be like?
So my goal for next year, I've got 2 goals set in place, and so my goal for next year is look, those Harcourts rankings are quite addictive, right? So you just want to keep bettering yourself in one. So this year was a big surprise to be number 5 for the region. That was amazing. I just want to, you know, obviously improve on that, and eventually I like to be number 1 in the region. But then at the same time, you know, you got Carver Muir in there and some other very big players, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to achieve that until when he retires or semi-retires. So, but nevertheless, that's what I try for. And where I get there or no, it doesn't really matter, because it's look, the journey it's been amazing, and I enjoy doing what I do. So even if I never get to that number 1, I'll still going to try.
There you go. You never give up.
I got 5 years of charging. I think I've got 5 years of charging. What I mean by charging is putting this much time and energy,
Yeah.
because it is tiring. And as much as I love it, I think I've got another 5 years of this high intensity, and I'll never leave real estate. But I might reassess, at what level I'm going to be doing this, because 12-hour days, I can't do it for the rest of my life.
Oh, no, you can't.
As much as I love it.
But you love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's addictive, isn't it? It's an addictive industry. And you said to me once, sometimes if I take time off, I'm fearful of missing something.
Yeah.
Because it's always on your mind, isn't it? So my last question to you is this, Diego. Are you living the dream?
I'm working on it, Bob.
A dream right now.
We're
only talking 4 years. Are you living a dream?
I'm working on it. You're working on it. It's a work in progress. Yeah, I'm definitely living a good life. I enjoy what I do. I got a beautiful family. But, it's work in progress.
So you're not complaining.
I'm definitely not complaining.
You're not complaining. What's the best piece of advice somebody has given you along the way?
I would say that the majority of things that I've learned, they're coming from that podcast, because it's free, first of all, and it's about just real estate from two of the best minds out there. So that was at the start all I did. I must have listened on hundreds of hours of Tom Panis and John McGrath discussing real estate. So that's free. So regardless of what stage of your career is, go and listen to that. That's really good. And the second one, if you got no listings, just call private listers and give them a call and say this. Use this script, because this script works every single time. You call them and say, I see that you're selling privately. Are you doing that because you want to save on the commission? They'll say yes. And then you say, good on you. I'll probably be doing the same if I was you. But let me ask you a question. If I can get the buyer to pay for the commission, would you allow me to sell your property? And then they always say, what do you mean by that? And he's like, well, you want 700. What if I can sell it for 725 or 730? Can I sell it to my buyer? And they go like, oh yeah, of course. And that it's a way to be in with a private lister, and then you go and meet them face to face, and But that is, if you got no listings, call the private listers, because that is a very good way to get. And even if it's a general listings, it doesn't matter unless you got something in the books, because if you haven't got a listing, you're unemployed. That's the way that I look at it. If you don't have a listing, you're unemployed.
Right. Perfect. So guys, there's a really good script. We've come out with some really good scripts and dialogues. Gee, Diego, thank you so much. I'm sure there's so many people will have some questions as well. I think from my experience since being at Harcourts and since in the academy over the last almost 2 years, the number of people, number of times your name's been raised. So I think there's a lot of people out there who have got a lot of respect for what you do. I think your message is loud and clear. Just break through any fear and discomfort. And the other thing I picked up from you is patience. You might have to wait 3 years for somebody to do something, but patience. But look, congratulations. Thank you so much. This has been just fantastic. And I know people out there will get a lot of takeouts from it.
Thank you.
So
thank you as well.
Thank you. Ciao.